Yep. All right, boys, what's up? It's Colton, All In Lawn Equipment. We got the T27i out here. We're gonna do some leaf cleanup today, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't use it yesterday, but I wanted to get familiarized with it so I could tell you some of the things that I like and I don't like. Way more things that I like. We got a bit of a leaf problem at the Medlin household. That ain't a little bit of leaves. I'd say it's, I don't know, 6 inches. I was impressed by the Walker. I was expecting it to ride a little more rough, and it didn't, which was nice. And as long as you don't, inundate it with leaves, it'll be fine. But you know me, if you've been following since the demo days and whatnot, I like to push things to the limit, so I like to test them out. But we did clean up over here yesterday. Obviously some leaves have fallen, so that looks good, but that's going to be the fun time and the good test, so I'm excited about it. So here she is. This is the Walker T27i, 27 horsepower Kohler. It's got the 10 bushel hopper. It has the power dump on it. Now, I don't know if it was me or the guy that demoed it before me, or if we got it like this, but somebody backed that thing up into something and it warped it. I'm thinking right here because it's rubbing right there. So whenever it comes down, it don't close all the way. So we got to get back there and push it all the way down. But under normal circumstances, that wouldn't be the case. Somebody just wasn't paying attention. But this is T27i Walker. It's a 48-inch deck. This thing's pretty sweet. Does a good job. It's got a 4.7 gallon fuel capacity. And then if you look at it from right here, you can see you got trim capability on both sides, considering this is a collection deck. So pretty cool, shaft driven, which is nice. And it's got the power dump. Like I said, I'm not going to dump her right now, but got the comfort seat and everything. So we'll get this bad boy fired up and we'll start doing some leaf removal. This is her in all her beauty. Get some sunlight on her. I ain't gonna lie, I'm still figuring out how to use this freaking gimbal. I got the Osmo 4 Pocket. So, pretty sweet piece of machinery. In some of these videos that you'll see, they'll get piled up, the leaves will. Under normal circumstances, you'd want to be like, mowing and or collecting probably once a week. At this point, the way we have it right now is a little high. We got Petey. He's excited to get some yard work in. Tell him, Pizza. I call him Peter Thiel. If you know, you know. Really need to step my social media game up because right now I only have one chip to collect content with in terms of an SD card, and some people would deem that rookie stuff, so I would too. But getting this bad boy set up, DJI, don't drop that, you'll lose it. That's why I always try and get her set up like this. But this is our DJI Mini 4. Don't lose any of this. Very important in terms of the protection for your phone. She's got a little gimbal on there just like this bad boy does. So this thing's sweet, dude. I mean, honestly, and I'll go ahead and set it up right here and ramble for a second. Honestly, I kind of clocked it whenever I bought this thing. I had about 3,000 followers on Instagram, and then by the end of the year, I think I had like 15,000 followers or something ridiculous. So it really boosted boosted the trajectory of my social media career, but I ain't gonna BS you. And I tell a lot of guys this anyways. A lot of guys are like, hey, and they run their own lawn care business, which is great. Like, you know, do your thing. But they're always like asking, how can I boost my social media presence? You know, I want to be an influencer. And I'm like, look, bro, first of all, it ain't all it's cracked up to be, and this ain't gonna help you that much anyways. You're gonna spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out how to grow your social media following and presence, and in the whole scheme of things, it ain't gonna help you a whole lot. Will it give you that aura of having followers? Yes. If you're a lawn care guy, you would be much better off investing your time in figuring out how to make your business more efficient and providing more services to your customers, because that's what's going to make you more money. You're going to waste time trying to build up your social media following, because in the whole scheme of things, it's not going to help you as much. Now, if you're a salesman, you should absolutely be trying to boost your social media following, because that gives you that outreach. So a lot of people get that misconstrued sometimes. And if you're a lawn care guy, or you are providing any sort of service, you know, I'm not saying you shouldn't try and utilize social media to your advantage, but I'm saying trying to be an influencer is not the best use of your time. You know, anytime you provide said service, you should probably take a video and or picture and say, hey, this is what we can do. This is how we can make your yard look like this. But, you know, the goal of like just gaining followers, to say you have followers, really doesn't do anything. You can get monetized at a specific point in time, but unless you really have the time to invest in that, it still ain't worth it. Now, I say that, and everything that I've bought in terms of managing and or scaling my social media presence has been paid for from social media payouts. But like I said, like my job is to sell a product. Your job is, for the most part, to sell a service. So don't get that misconstrued, because a lot of guys get caught up with that, and it's cool and all, but the goal is to make money. The goal is not to have the followers. You know, for me specifically, the goal is to like use my follower base to make more money. That's not going to translate as much to a service-based business as it will to someone who is in sales. So just don't get that misconstrued. I'm not trying to shoot your dreams down either. I'm just telling you, your time allocated to figuring out how to make more money in your business is going to be way better in the long run. So there's my 2 cents for that. The drone's ready. I mean, we're looking pretty good. These are, you know, they're fairly thick leaves, so it takes a minute, you know. I mean, I'm thinking we're getting 1 or 2 passes right here, and it's time to dump. So, but it's picking them up pretty good, you know. It's a lot of leaves, so we should be using less deck. So, you know, anyways, but if you don't let the leaves get out of control, she'll do fine. You actually let the deck roll over and it's not crazy, but see this right here. I mean, it's doing pretty good. Like I said, that back part's bent, so we got some flying out too, which ain't the greatest, but I mean, still, a lot of that leaking out is from that back piece being bent and or warped. Look at that deck articulate to the ground. It's freaking sick. Hey, turn the blades off. No, pull it back. Turn the blades off. Turn the blades off. Now go backwards. You're good. Now, that's why at all times, and it's hard to, you got to keep your hand right here at all times. I'm on the video too, but it's all good. It happens. You got to keep there's the beep if you heard it. You got to keep your hand on the right throttle at all times, because to a certain degree, as I was operating it, I just wanted to have the right hand throttle like full sticks, and then be like continuously fighting with my left hand. And I was like, bro, you gotta have some stamina to do this all day, because, like, you know, your forearm right here and your shoulders are like getting tight because you're doing this number. And I'm like, I was using it today, and then I was like, damn, dude, I gotta freaking tone this thing back. So really just, and I didn't think about it until it like clicked, but like, just set your speed, and then you need to adjust and or steer with your left hand, you know, because, you know, I'm balls to the walls anyways. I'm all in, you know, so I just freaking get that thing and cut her loose. So, but let me get on here and show you kind of a few things that I've learned about this bad boy. So like I was saying, you gotta have your park brake off. You should really just set your speed, and you should be able to go straight at all times. But see, this one wants to inch forward a little bit, so it needs an adjustment. But you just need to be steering with your hand. Because what I was wanting to do is just have this thing resting at full-fledged like this, and then wanting to fight it to slow down the whole time, and my arm's getting tired. You know, you're gonna call me a wimp, but you don't have to fight it like that the whole time. You just set it right. Set it with your right hand, you know, so. Let's see this bad boy. And another thing that I've noticed is if you got a good stack of leaves right here, you need to run that bad boy about halfway up the deck, because otherwise it gets all up in here. And then it's not cutting or gathering like it should. So. And also, obviously, I've noticed that you just ease over and let it eat, it's gonna eat. Because if you go full-fledged like this, it probably don't cut as, well, I know it ain't cutting as good. And then, come show them right here. And then if you go full speed and you don't really let the unit do its job, you're gonna get it all stacked up like this, which is fine. You can go push it out in the field or whatever you want to do if that's what you're trying to accomplish. But you know, all that is not getting cut, and it's just getting displaced. So really let that thing, there's a metaphor that I like to use whenever you're using like a blower or something like this. Like when you're hitting a nail with a hammer, you don't want to hold the hammer at the top, at the head. you want to hold the hammer at the bottom and let the momentum do its thing. So let the piece of machinery work, you know what I mean? Articulates pretty freaking sweet too. Like, look at that. Any other zero turn, well, this ain't a zero turn, but you're gonna be scalping. See, I'm on a hill now. Making a freaking mess while I'm doing it. Freak. Landlord ain't gonna like that. Landlord is not gonna love that. So, anyways. Just let her ease right over for the most part. I mean, eventually, see, you need to be running about like that. Which all the social media warriors are going to tell me I'm a fool, but, and I don't mow grass either, but I'm just noticing how much better it's working like this. Probably not leaving anything behind either, in terms of what's not leaking out of that crack at the back. Yeah, dude, look at that. Slow. In all reality, you should never let it get this out of hand anyways, because it's going to take forever, like it's doing with us. But I did that on purpose because I want to see how well this thing would perform, which is up to standard. But if you stay on top of this, you know, depending on how often the leaves are falling / how thick you let it get, it'll just be like mowing grass like normal. You know, you won't have to dump every single time. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is when you're not paying attention and you let that thing get clogged up. It ain't terrible, but it ain't the funnest thing ever. So you'll hear the beep, and you'll also see her get clogged. So check this. This bad boy's got to be about full. That stick right there, I had one clog up the actual deck chute instead of the impeller, which is going to get clogged up here in a second. That was the beat. I'm sure she's clogged up. Either way, I can show you. But dude, that is amazing. Look at that. Like I tell everybody, that even comes into a dealership, comes into the dealership and is like, what is that? I'm like, dude, best grass handling, or best cutting deck, articulating to the ground, best grass handling system, easy. So also check this power dump out. And then as Maddie's, come on, as Maddie's walking down here, you'll see where I kind of cleared this bad boy out. And this red bump right here, even over that red bump, it didn't scalp because that deck articulates so much. Now this is all the leaves that we've had to dump, so it ain't a little bit. I've gotten to where I can whip this thing around pretty good. So I, suggest putting that thing back in neutral. I'm gonna throttle this thing down and turn this bad boy off so we ain't wasting a bunch of gas. Power dump's sick. Check this out. And it'll automatically open. It's not, it ain't clogged. All right, boys, we switched to the iPhone. Yeah, anyways, I forgot that I didn't show you what it's like when it's clogged. So there it is. There shouldn't be very much in the dump right now. Look, yep. So here's what you got to do. You just push that and it falls right at the back because the thing's open. Now this, you just, there's so much in there. Oh. And you gotta, now whenever you can feel down in there on that turbine, you can't really see it. Sorry, I know it's about shaky as crap. Whenever you can feel the thing that spins in there, that fan blade, you're good. Let's see here. Let me pop this thing up. All right, pop her up right here. She is not clogged. Oh, that's not a good shot. Can't really see. It's got a little up in there. See? Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, see up in there? That'll probably dislodge. Let's see if I can, man. I'm laying up on my belly now. Yeah, it's good. It's clear through there. It's clear. That can get clogged, or right here can get clogged, or right here can get clogged. So, like I said, let it eat. But if you don't hear the beep, it's getting clogged. It ain't a terrible thing. You just got to pop the deck up and whatnot, but it's kind of annoying. So just make sure you pay attention. After you get done doing your power dump, make sure that you put the top or the back down, because if not, it's gonna freaking blow grass all over the place. And I rode like this for a little while and I didn't even realize. I was like, why is there freaking grass getting all over me, bro? And I'm like driving down looking like this right here. So definitely make sure that you put the power dump back down. Another cool thing about the power dump, yeah, look at that piece of machinery, man. That thing's freaking sick. Let me put this park brake on. Oh, she won't run like that. So anyways, now obviously we probably want to keep all of that free of debris as much as possible. And we'll definitely blow it out when we get done, but yeah, you do not want that. And another thing is, like, when you're going and you're dumping your leaves, you want to make sure you're not shoving that muffler all the way up in the freaking pile of leaves that you dumped before, because right here, the muffler, it's on this side. I was driving off from here and I turned around and I just kind of saw like one of them smoking. I was like, that ain't dust, you know, it's smoke. So went back over there and kind of stomped it out. But you know, we're in North Carolina, so it hadn't rained in what, God almighty, it's had to be 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe longer than that. So, you know, you go start a fire in the woods, it's gonna be a fun time. So anyways, I'm trying to turn it on. You gotta make sure that this bad boy is all the way back, because it ain't gonna turn on. Now, what I was gonna say about the power dump, which is very cool, is that you can drive and dump it. You gotta leave caught in the belt back there. But the driving dump's pretty sick. Also, the way that I cleared this place out, driving down through here, I opened the back of the dump system. See how it's not shutting all the way? Something's warped on that thing. But you can drive and cut the grass with the dump system open and just sling it out the back. So I didn't bag it while I was driving through the woods. And here's what we have to do with this bad boy. It ain't sealing all the way like it should. Yeah. It's got about that much just leaking out. So I don't know if I bent it, may have, the other guy bent it, may have, or somebody before us, but it's bent. We'll get one more going through here. Another, can I hold that? Another thing I want to show you is, if you do get it full to the point where it ain't, or you're using the full deck, this collection system is so, I gotta engage the blades. This collection system is so strong, it'll suck some from outside the deck.
like grab it from, not out there, but like right there, and suck it in. Let me see if I can get it to it. Yeah. I missed that one. But either way, this thing's freaking powerful. So overall, the Walker does a great job in terms of the articulating deck. I'm gonna get a demo out here, maybe not out here, but on a nicer yard so that we can really see how that thing articulates across the rough terrain. Because I mean, this thing is traveling up to, I think it's like 7 or 8 inches in some models. So, you know, you go down in the dip, it's staying level. You go over the top, it ain't scalping. On the hill, you saw right there, it's tilting and turning all the things. And obviously the grass handling system, you see what it's capable of. As long as you don't let it get out of control, you can snap it really quick, but however you want to play it. So overall, very impressed by this thing. I'm very excited to be selling this brand. Met a lot of guys at the expo, very clean cut and professional. I'd go out and say, well, I know for a fact Christian based, which is nice, like that. Most likely conservative, and you know, clean cut guys, well spoken, all the things. They did a lot to help us get our first Walker sale in the bag, including getting this demo to the end user that needed to do the leaf cleanup job. So they really pulled a lot of strings, and I'm happy to be a part of the team, and I'm ready to get them things out in the wild and get them working. And you know, they have a demo program, obviously, so if you want to demo anything, we're near Newton, North Carolina. But yeah, this thing is freaking sick. I won't get into all the implements and whatnot right now, but later on we will. So, you know, overall, very impressed. Excited to be selling this product. That was cool.
Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Here's the behind the scenes. This is the 27i Kohler. I want to see Big Daddy Diesel 3-cylinder Kubota grass handling, going nutty. And another thing, I'll edit this in, but this shaft driven right here, bro, that thing is sick. You ain't bogging it. You can hear right here. You can hear whenever, you know, the engine is under a little bit of stress, but shaft driven's the way to go. So that's pretty sick too. Impressed. Not impressed with all the dust. Not Walker's fault, but dang it, son, that sucks. Anyways.